And I hear Joe just go, oh my gosh. And he started having this incredible love that I had asked him, has he ever experienced? And I knew that he was experiencing it. I knew it shot up into his heart. And I'm like, holy cow, he's doing it. He's feeling it.
Dylan, will you share that story you shared with me at lunch?
Absolutely. Thank you, brother. So I'm not sure how I'm going to act right now. I'm a little nervous because I'm about to dig into some past a little bit here. Billy's aware of, I lost my mom a year and a half ago, almost 2 years now, to suicide. She took her life. And my mom raised me by herself, and it was just her and I, no father around. And I was her protector, you know. I was the man of the house, and it was a long process before she ended up taking her life. And I was coaching her. I knew these principles. I started meditating myself. I had some of the subconscious programs that she had in her head and heart. I developed some of those because she raised me by herself. And something that Francis said resonated with me really well. And that was it. Do we think God is a friendly God, a God of love, or fear? And I was raised in the Catholic Church. I was an altar boy till I was 17 years old. And I remember looking over my shoulder when I was a kid going, my gosh, did I just mess up with God, you know? Like fear. Like, could I do wrong in God's eyes, you know what I mean? And there was a lot of that guilt and shame that I think the churches are starting to smoothen out, because they realize that that's making people suffer, you know, a lot of these belief systems that we've adopted. And so to Joe Dispenza's, that's what led me to Joe Dispenza's work, is I was trying to heal myself because I had such pain and suffering and fear and doubt. And I'm like, so first of all, I can enter the quantum very easily. I can bask for hours with no thought. But when I'm out here in the real world, or not, that is the real world, but when I'm out here with everybody in society, that's where I'm getting triggered. So I can go into the nothingness and everythingness, which is the quantum field, just feeling and being with the stillness of life and the energy of life. And that is healing me, and it's a process. It is a process. And so when I was at the Dr. Joe's workshop, the coherence healings is so powerful. And the first 3 days of the workshop, it's like he's trying to get everyone into the quantum, the nothingness, and everyone's preparing and coming against their fears. I mean, people were like, it'd be dead quiet except for the music, the drone music, and you hear somebody go, ah, because they thought they're going to float off into the void. And if you ever come across that moment where you feel like you can enter a space of stillness and no thought, it's the most neutral ground there is. It's so natural. And it's just, the first time I did, I had an anxiety attack, but I worked through it. And I was just like, okay, let it breathe. And I just sat and basked in it. And it's the most friendly, neutral place. So just know that there's nothing scary on the other side of those, of being absent of thought. So back to Dr. Joe's workshop, we were preparing for the coherence healing. And we're doing preparation, and Dr. Joe was telling us about our hands, the chi, putting our hands out. And the first coherence healing, I was with a friend of mine. I just happened to, there were 1,700 people there in one room. And I mean, the energy is intense. And I was sitting next to a friend of mine. This is my first experience with a coherence healing. We're going to do 3 of them, one each day, for the remaining 3 days that we were there. And my friend's name was Joe that I just met there. And Joe, I asked Joe, I was like, Joe, have you ever felt profound love? Like something that just, oh my gosh, like something that just freaking made you feel whole and powerful and loving. And he's like, no, I've never felt that. And he's been meditating for years and years and years. And I'm like, me neither, but I have a feeling it exists, I have a feeling it exists. Dr. Joe's talking about it, and like, I believe it exists. I believe in this, and I'm going to see if I can make it happen. And so we're doing the coherence healing, and I was telling Billy this story because he asked me about it when I came in earlier. So Joe, he's about 75 years old, and we're preparing our hands, and like I felt the energy. I'm like, oh my gosh, the energy in the room is like electric, as you know. It's like you really do feel something, and I had this power going in my hands, and I'm like, Dr. Joe was like, hold it, not yet. We have a person laying in front of us that we're going to try and heal. 8 people to 1 person divided by 1,700 people. And so I'm like, I'm ready right now, Dr. Joe. I was like, I'm going to go, and I'm all, no, I don't want to go against his authority. And so I'm like, okay. And I waited, and then as soon as he said go, I'm like, I don't feel it anymore. I'm like, oh no. I'm like, I don't want to let this girl down. And I'm like, I don't feel it. And then the same man that I said, have you ever felt this profound love before? I'm feeling the group's energy. I'm like, okay, connect with the group. Just freaking get out of your way. Let God do let God do his magic. And I'm like, okay, go into no thought. So I was going into no thought, and I hear Joe just go, oh my gosh. And he started having this incredible love that I had asked him, has he ever experienced? And I knew that he was experiencing it. I knew it shot up into his heart, and I'm like, holy cow, he's doing it. He's feeling it, what we were just talking about. And so sure enough, it took him, like after we did the healing, he's hugging everyone. I mean, he is just so full of love, hugging everyone to pieces and just saying, oh my gosh. And so I asked him, well, Joe, what happened, buddy? It's all Dylan. It's the love of God. It was the love of God. And he just started. I felt it. And so the next day, like everyone that's there is there they want to experience. We want to experience this love. You know, to talk about it is one thing, and to get results is terrific. I mean, that's what we're just chipping away at it. But it's a time that we want to experience this love. You know, we want to experience this love. And so I was trying not to be like, I'm like, everyone's, what, do you feel anything? Did anything happen to you? And like, so you can get in your own way and think and get in your own head and go, how come it's not happening to me? Am I doing something wrong? This and that. And so then you're like, okay, no, just go back to the work. So the second day I had my opportunity, and I told myself, I was like, Dylan, believe in yourself. If you feel that magic in your hands again, give it to her, you know, because there's another girl that I was going to get a chance to heal. And I was saying myself, and because I was already feeling the fire in my hands, and I was feeling the tingles in my hands, and I was like, Dr. Joe's like, hold it. And I'm like, I ain't holding it. And I just went. And what I did was, I'm like, in my mind, with my thoughts and my stillness that I've developed, I just told that girl, I'm not letting you down. And I started breathing, and I started trying to create what love feels like in my heart and in my mind. And bang, it freaking erupted in my heart. I had like what Dr. Joe calls a heart orgasm, but it freaking scared me because it hit me so hard. I'm like, oh, and I felt like I was going to fall out of my chair. That's what I was telling you. I felt like I was going to fall out of my chair, and I was like, it's not my healing type thing. I'm like, it's not my healing moment. It was for the girl. And so I got in my head a little bit, and so I eased off on the throttle of it. I'm like, whoa, put on the brakes a little bit here. And then I let it open up again, and I felt it again. I honestly felt like if I would have, Dr. Joe talks about this, and he says that if you feel this moment come upon you, and you feel this love start to rise up in you, open up to it. Do not close down to it, because it can permeate every cell. And that's how people are getting cured from disease in these workshops, and autoimmune disease, neurological diseases, all kinds of stuff. Like magic is happening because when it hits, if we can open up and let it do its thing, it can get into those deep subconscious programs and eradicate all the misbelief to know that God is love. And that's what I want to leave you guys with. Thank you so much. Thank you, brother. Love you too. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you, brother.
Whoa, Dylan. Whoo, my brother. We've been friends a long time. And I just learned about that story at lunch. And I was just like, man, I'm talking about synchronicity. I know Francis has been there. I thought, and then the body of oneness. We talked about what it means to be light, the light of the world, right? What it means to be one with God, one with everything that is. The I am that I am, the I am that I am, the I am that I am, the I am that I am.